go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone? Like I can't help but always think about that time gone. Too many people I done lost, I'm trying to find home. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone? Can't go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where them niggas leave you wide open. So if you move around, you know to keep that nine close. Too many times I seen them change, thought I would die for them. The loyalty that had me walking with a blindfold. Can't let these people be the reason I don't make it. Give them time and they gon' waste it. Don't appreciate that time bone. Like I'm just trying to make it.
What's up, guys? Welcome everybody to Lace Up Podcast, episode 28. Lace Up Podcast, where we lace up or lay down. I got my co-host here,
Kevin Donovan. What's up, guys?
Here we got a special guest all the way from New Bedford, Kevin Rosario. Gonna let Devin introduce him. Devin always got the fire questions, but Kevin's got quite a story here. So tune in, keep your ears peeled, and get ready for some action here.
Yeah, Kevin, what's up, bro? Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, so let's dive right in, man. What was you're from New Bedford, right? What was it like growing up out there?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate you accommodating the wacky schedule. I know you have your regular times, and this worked for me, so I appreciate you guys doing that. And yeah, like New Bedford, people that don't know, New Bedford's like in any other city. It's a big fishing town, so there's like a lot of ethnicity there. And I only say that to say because early on, I was like kind of attracted to that street life. And like I have two parents. I got two great parents. Shout out to Linda and Joe Rosario. They're still together today. They did their best trying to handle a young maniac. And I chose to leave the safety of a home that had my back to go into the projects and hang in the streets and do all that. So the downside of New Bedford is economic, right? People with some financial, challenges, a lot of projects, a lot of drug dealing, a lot of violence, murders, all of that. But then the other side of it is beautiful people, a lot of culture, a lot of great food, a lot of restaurants, huge fishing port. Like still, I think to this day, one of the richest fishing ports in the country. But for me as a young person, my parents, my mom specifically, chose to take me out of like the local elementary I should be in and sent me to another elementary that was like the best elementary. So it was good motive, but like right off jump, third grade, I'm different. I'm on a bus. I'm a magnet student. I'm like a white kid with two parents, and most of my friends like grew up in the projects. Dad's a crackhead, mom's missing, Nana's raising, all that dynamic. So way before drugs and alcohol, like literally as early as third grade, I had that separation. I felt less than. I felt insecure. I felt like I didn't fit in. And, that's really, like, so when people always talk about drugs and alcohol, and I'll say this and I always say this, is like, drugs and alcohol are not the problem. Not for me. You have a hip surgery and you get addicted to perks. Perks are the problem. Detox off perks, go back to being a happy person. If you're someone like me, I get anxiety, depression, fear, trauma, insecurity. Like, I'm not okay. And then someday I find drugs, temporarily makes me okay. So I've done a lot of step work, and I've done a lot of inner child work and therapy, and it just, God, has blessed me. I've been sober since 2010. So, like, you learn some things, and I don't say that in an arrogant way. I used to also think heroin was the problem. I sold drugs, I had jobs, I was a high-functioning disaster. If I just stopped shooting dope, I'm going to crush life. And then, that was not the case. And so it really goes back to the childhood stuff, and I don't want to keep ranting if you have another question.
No.
I can just go.
The stage is yours, bro. The stage is yours.
People need to hear that stuff.
People need to hear
I just actually spoke at an alumni, like a commitment, to like the people in early recovery and whatnot, and I'm like, first thing I would say is like, I'm no different than you, you know what I mean? So let's get that right off the rip, you know? But the same thing where, my story is similar to yours, where I grew up, I had two parents, and most of my friends didn't, most of my friends didn't live in a house, and I couldn't wait to get there, and then when I went down the corner, I couldn't wait to get to prison, essentially, in hindsight, when I look back, because it's funny how that works, right? It's not just like, you would think the person that was less fortunate, or that had less materialistic stuff, or let's just say that love, right? That guidance, and you would think that they were the people that suffered, and I'm sure they do, right, in their own way.
Yeah.
But that's part of alcoholism, where it's like you're consumed by your own thoughts and your self-centeredness, and you're like, and it's real. The fear is real and stuff like that, but it's detrimental to you. But we're comparing, and it's like at that time, that's not even normal thinking to be like, all right, well, I want to fit in with these guys. You know what I mean? I don't want to one up them. I don't want to make them feel less than,
Right.
So let me just do what they do, and they're probably thinking, I want a house,
Oh,
or I want
and jealous that you have two parents.
yes,
Healthy
right.
parents.
Yeah,
Right? What I found, like looking at that, it's a great point. And I don't mean to knock my parents. I feel like sometimes a lot of clips get taken out of context and it like takes shots at my poor mom and dad.
Yeah.
But like, the truth is this: like, my father was a Portuguese immigrant. God bless him. The whole family came here when he was like 17, learned English, right, and fumbled along, got a fishing job, got a painting job, eventually started his own painting company, which he still owns today. He's doing well. But like as a kid, my father was like, he wasn't like big aggressive energy. He was like, I'm an immigrant. I fumble through English. I don't spell correctly. And like my mother was like the all-American, graduated with honors, never got a ticket in her life, dean's list, like literally retired as head payroll clerk for the New Bedford Fire Department, made $400 a week and held it down, like managed the family, while dad's like a wild cowboy, like got his own drinking and stuff going on.
Yeah, right.
Fishing is sporadic. Painting is seasonal.
Yeah.
Like he's up and down, and mom's holding it down. And so my mother was like, and I love you, Mom. Sorry if you see this, but it's true. She knows it is like, she was like, Leave It to Beaver, Lifetime Movie Network, fucking Christmas all year round, Mom. She lived in this, life is what you make of it. The glass is always halfway full. I'm like, Mom, dude got jumped on the way to school. It's wild out there. And they're like, well, you're judged by the company you keep, right? And all that positive stuff, which in retrospect, now I try to live by that.
Of course.
And you are judged by the company you keep. Yeah. And it is about perspective. The glass is always, but as a kid who's like going through it and seeing violence and this and that, and I'm like coming home and she would just always spin this pot. I felt dismissed. So she's out of touch with reality, is my view. And then my father, he's like more soft and meek and passive. He's not like an aggressive man. My mother's brother, Jeff, God bless Uncle Jeff, he passed from cancer, but like he was the American bass playing, get drunk, knock a guy out at a bar. He's a heavy set guy. He had a Suburban on 22s in the 80s before it was popular, like had a limo business and a boat business, always throwing money around. He was the guy that had a guy, we'd be camping and he'd be like, oh, I got a guy. He'd have a guy deliver like a brand new Weber grill in the box that was lukewarm. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the plug for it. So my uncle at a young age was like the man I wanted to be. I don't want to be Leave It to Beaver mom, and I don't want to be passive dad. I want to be knocking people out. I want to have a guy, and I want to be respected. And my uncle had that. And so I was attracted to that larger than life personality. So like when I get out of elementary school and I get to junior high school, you get exposed to high school kids, get more and more exposed to like people in the street. I'm attracted to the violent guy, the guy with the Cadillac and the jewelry, the guy that got the women, the guy that everybody respects, the guy with the fresh gear. And so really, because what you said triggered this thought, what made me want to leave a relatively safe and loving home was because of my own insecurity. Because I'm insecure and I don't feel comfortable in my own skin, and I have these two loving people that I consider soft and not in touch with reality, I need to find the Uncle Jeffs out there. And the Uncle Jeffs out there are the drug dealers and the tough guys. And so, like, I denounce, I don't know what the word is, like, I reject my family and that whole thing, and I'm like, no, I'm going to be tough. Right. And, like, on top of that,
I'm changing the trajectory of this how this goes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm not going to be delusional like my mom, and no one's going to disrespect me like my father, because my father, being the Portuguese immigrant, he's a cook, he's cutting the wood, he's handling the grill, and my uncle's like, hey, Rosario, fucking do this, do that. You know what I mean? And my father, just being a good guy, wanting to be helpful, I took that as, well, I'm disrespecting my father like that, right? And so that, coupled with, in elementary school, I was in a different school I didn't feel like I belonged in. In 5th grade, I got bullied for the first time. In 6th grade, I fell in love with this little chick that kissed another boy. Like, the daycare teacher was a creep and was hugging and holding me and telling me, like, that creepy shit that happens to a lot of us that nobody wants to talk about. So way before drugs and alcohol, I have all this insecurity and all this little trauma and just not being okay. So I made a decision when I left elementary school to go to junior high, and therapists and different people call this an inner vow. I made an inner vow, an inner promise with myself. I'll never be bullied, and I'll never let a woman hurt me again. So what does that look like? I leave elementary, I go to junior high school. Here come the characters now. Here come the masks. So I start hanging around with the 8th graders to feel protected. I'm the class clown now. I'm making fun of people. I'm picking on people. Like, shit, if you got me in a corner with the cool kids, I'll make fun of myself. Because that doesn't hurt as bad as you making fun of me, right? And so this is all fake. I think I'm the toughest, realest white boy in New Bedford, but I'm not. I'm fake. I'm a chameleon, and I'm just acting however I got to act to feel safe in a world that doesn't feel safe. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then I smoked weed, right? So that's all secondary to everything else that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And, like, until you get a grip on that, you'll never get well because everybody's, like, so focused on not using one day at a time. Yeah, good for you, bro. Like, when I get sober, I'm a broken 12-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And so until I figure out,
That's the problem,
right, that's the
The
real problem.
underlying issues.
Yeah, and so the traumas, and some people have more severe trauma than others. And don't get me wrong. In New Bedford, I started smoking weed in 7th grade. By the end of 7th grade, I'm selling joints for the old kids, like, literally, the Sucrets metal cases. You know, give me 5. You sell 4, kid, you get 1 for free. That's the hustle at 12, you know what I'm saying? And by the end of 8th grade, it's mescaline. I'm selling mescaline, right? And you just keep progressing, and, like, next thing you know, like, I'm crossing lines, and, like, the thing is about that life is I've told the story to myself so many times that you believe the lie.
Yes.
I believed I was a tough guy. I believed I was a playboy. I wore all the clothes and all the costumes, you know, and it serves you. It served me well.
It served you a purpose,
right?
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, you're good.
You can't sell drugs. Sorry,
you
my mic had a mic malfunction. Mic 1, 2.
That's all right.
This is my fancy platinum clip.
I know. We got another one, Joe. You shot it in the glass. We got another one right here. Bang.
Boom.
Boom. It's
We're
all
back.
good.
We're
We're back.
stay alive.
Yeah.
We stay rolling. This is life. Life be happening.
Absolutely.
What the hell was I saying though?
You were saying like
Serving you a purpose.
Oh yeah, right. So if you want
the ego served its purpose.
So the characters too, right? So if you want to sell drugs and you want to live in a tough city and you want to end up in detoxes and jails and stuff like that, you better be that guy.
Yeah.
You got to be tough. You got to be ready to swing first. You got to be witty and be able to snap and talk shit, mama jokes and all that. Because if not, you'll get destroyed.
Yeah.
And so it worked for a while, but like once things started getting bad, like, you know, by high school, I got kicked out of New Bedford Voc. I went to New Bedford High. Next thing you know, I'm failing out. I need summer school just to get my diploma. And, like, I'm selling drugs from 13 to 31. But I also work at Friendly's, deliver pizza, work at Stop and Shop, get a little electrical apprentice job. Like, I always have a job and a hustle. And then in the 90s, late 90s, Oxycontin hits. And, like, it's just a common story. I'm 45, so I'm from that generation. I'm selling weed, coke, guns, pit bulls. Anything I enjoyed using, I sold. That was kind of like my thing. So it changed. Ecstasy, ketamine, whatever I was into, weed was always the constant. And then I had the cousins, like the extra goods. And next thing you know, OCs came out. And we were all taking perks. Like in my generation, we were taking perks, 502, 602s, 503s, 512s, right? Endos. Those were the perks of the day. And we'd all take a couple, smoke a blunt, and drink a beer, 40 ounce, whatever. Nobody got addicted. Nobody stole from their family. It was like just the thing you did or you didn't do. You didn't look for them. If someone had them, you took them. And so when OC came out, and they're like, oh, it's just like perks without the aspirin. As a veteran, like, listen, I'm probably 19 or 20 when OCs hit the scene. I'd been selling and using drugs for at least 7 years. I'm in the street. I'm not a naive kid. I believe that. And I started taking OCs like they were perks, and within a few months, I was addicted.
Yeah.
6 months after that, I'm sniffing it. Within a year, I'm shooting heroin. And it went from being the cool kid with the jewelry and the flash to, like, I'm a heroin addict. What the fuck just happened, bro? Like, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And by 22, I'm on the methadone clinic, and I'm still getting high. You know? And by 24, I got my second DUI and a gun charge. And at 16, I got arrested for the first time. I got arrested every single year from 16 to 24, 8 years in a row, at least once a year. Class A, Class B, Class D distribution everywhere in New Bedford's a school zone. Shoplifting, B&E at night. Possession of a firearm. Discharging a firearm within 500 feet of a dwelling. Disturbing the peace. Like the whole range of misdemeanors to felonies that are all like that life related. But always quaffed out. Continue to find them. A lot of times didn't have a co-defendant. I did a lot of dirt by myself. Thank God, because everybody snitches.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Right? And so in 2004, I'm on 90 milligrams of methadone. I'm smoking crack every day. And my lawyer's like, bro, this charge, you're going to jail. My second DUI, and I had a box of hollow head bullets. They charged me with a firearm. And so this is my first intro to recovery. Because one, I have no desire to be sober, but I don't want to go to jail and get strung out my first bid. I want to be able to fight and defend myself. Yeah. So I come off the 90 milligrams over a period of 3 months. I go to TSS. I go to a halfway house, and I'm playing the game because I'm looking at 2 years. So, like, again, I don't want to be sober. I don't want to do 2 years. Yeah. So here's the blessing, and this is like a shout out to anyone that's going to a meeting for whatever reason. I don't care if it's DCF, you're trying to get your kids back, the baby mama kicked you out the big bed, you got a case pending. Like, if you go to enough meetings, whether you want to or not, some gems may land. And so in 2004, for about 10 months, I played the game. I went to meetings. I didn't even know NA and AA were different things, bro. I went wherever, got my slip sign, I'm in and out, I'm smoking butts, I'm drinking Red Bull, I'm making fun of people, I'm trying to smash sick chicks, bro. I'm just, like, going through the motions, you know what I'm saying? And so finally, the DA, like, came to a deal where he said, all right, you really want to be in recovery? Like, we'll give you a deal. And I took a deal of 6 months with 18 months probation and a suspended sentence. And, like, the funny thing is, and this isn't common, but, like, me and my lawyer had a good relationship. In open court, he's like, Your Honor, my client is not probation material. He's demonstrated for the last 8 years he can't complete 1 year of probation. Why are we going to set him up for 18 months? But all that tough guy New Bedford shit goes out the window when I'm looking at 2 years. All of a sudden, I'll take the screamer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I did, and it was a joke, and it was just like, you know, just like in the movies, and I hate to glamorize that life, but, like, because I was so short time, I was only in Gen Pop for, like, 3 weeks, and I went right to pre-release. And so I'm in a 6-man unit. I get on the sticking and picking crew. One dude comes out of pocket. I tell him, lace up, bro. He bitches up. Everyone knows nobody bothers me the rest of my bit. It's so corny, but, like, legit. Once you know, once people know you can't be walked on, they literally will go pick on someone else. You're not worth it. You're willing to fight? Ah, fuck it. I'm not going to, you know?
Yeah. Most majority, 99% of people aren't looking to take that, you know what I mean?
Right. Especially county. Like, state and fed, like, crazy as shit. You know, don't get me wrong. You know, but I'm in Dartmouth House of Correction. Yeah. Everybody's a thug and a drug dealer, but they're broken. They got no commissary. They're really just a bunch of fiends and low-level criminals.
Right. All of what it is.
You took a 2.5 on and after, bro. You're scared to death. Let's be honest. Or you got your little 18 months. You got a probation violation. That's who's there. Right. There's serious people in House of Correction. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about general percentage-wise, a lot of clients, right?
Absolutely.
So here's the worst thing that happens, though. I got comfortable. Mm-hmm. Within a month, bro, I got some people I know. I had one little situation. Now I'm good. I got the commissary. I got high tops. I'm sticking and picking. I meet this dude from Boston they call Buffalo Butt, bro. He brings in a whole pack of Newport 100s in the chute, gets them on the unit, right? We have people throwing us shit on the highways because they recognize me, right? Dude, I'm chilling. I got cigarettes. I'm making money.
Yeah.
And I tell my mother, I'm like, hey, Ma, like, you got to call the lawyer. I don't want to come home. And she's like, what do you mean, right? Oh, side note, career drug dealer, tough guy, playboy, street guy. The only people that wrote me or visited me was the mom that I stole from and the girl that I cheated on, right? So if that says anything, right? Mom's coming and getting violated every Sunday just to come see me, the poor thing, right? And I tell her I want to stay. She starts crying. I'm like, Ma, you don't understand. Like, it's not that bad in here. I got a little thing going. And, like, I'm afraid to come out with 18 months probation. So she was like, couldn't believe it, dude. Like, how would you want to stay here? Yeah. And that's how quick we can get institutionalized. It's like, well, because it's not that bad. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I wasn't using in there. I was making a little money. And so she comes back and she's like, I spoke to the lawyer spoke to the DA. He said, if you're so comfortable, you can do the 2 years. I'm like, we're going to roll the dice. I'm not that comfortable, you know? And so I get out. And like you say, like it's like high school, like you gotta, and this relates to recovery, and I want to get past this shit and talk about like how I actually got well. It's easy to go down this rabbit hole.
Yep.
But I'm in a 6-man, 3 bunk beds, and the 6 of us are devising plans to be better criminals, not go back to school and like becomes, you know. But you gotta watch out who you take your advice from, right? These dudes are not good at this. Yeah. They're with me, right? So, like, if you're in early recovery and you're listening to the program All-Star that knows the menu at Gavin and, like, knows everybody by name at High Point, like, bro, he's not good at this. Yeah. So if he says that meeting sucks, it's probably a good meeting. Yeah. If he says that big book guy's and whatever, bro, you gotta watch. So I'm taking advice from people that are not. It's like you don't take advice from a guy that just filed bankruptcy on how to start a business.
Yeah.
And
the
so
blind leading the blind.
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And so we're in there. Oh, you got a burn phone. Oh, you gotta have a stash on. Like stupid, bro. So I get out of jail and I had little high school goals. Right now I'm 25 years old. Wrap probation, get a job, get a license back. Second DUI requires a breathalyzer and a hostage to put a car on the road for you. Right. Get a girl. If I just do these things, I'll be okay. And just fast forward. I got a job. I was driving a Cadillac. My mom was proud of me. I had a girl. I wrapped probation for the first time in 8 years. No AA, no NA, no 12-step, no higher power, no nothing. Just sheer determination and willpower and fear of going back. And that got me so far. And like next thing you know, I got all the things. And my brain's like, bro, look how far you've come. Look how good you've done. You can probably go drink on the weekend with these professional salespeople. Just stay away from the coke and the dope. You'll be fine. And the worst thing that happened for someone like me is like, I went out and I had a bunch of drinks and I didn't get in a fight and I didn't throw up and I made it home safe. And bro, Monday morning, I'm like, yo, where are we going this weekend? Like immediately, we call that the mental obsession, right?
Absolutely.
Immediately, as soon as I successfully drank without any chaos, and then fast forward, I'm drinking on Wednesday and Friday, and then fast forward, I'm selling coke, and then fast forward, I'm smoking crack by myself on a Tuesday night, pissing in a Hawaiian Punch bottle because I'm stuck in my bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Got a beautiful bathroom with a functional toilet, by the way, with no chain, Eddie. Don't edit that out, you guys.
I won't.
Love Eddie McGrath, solid human. But yeah, so I'm stuck, and then next thing you know, it's pills and Xanax, and I'm shooting heroin. It took a whole year before like the beer on the weekend to shooting heroin, but like then it's a clearance sale, right? The car's gone, the job's gone, the jewelry's gone, everything's gone. I'm broken, I'm disgusted, I'm shoplifting again, I'm stealing mom's jewelry again, I'm overdrafting the bank account again, I'm running out of Walmart with orders for the drug dealer, and I'm like this pathetic riding a bike in the rain with $38 begging for a 40 guy.
Yeah.
And like what a fall from grace and what brokenness. And like this is where I believe God lets me keep a little ego because it helps me be functional. Because my ego at that time, when it hit me that I'm not Kevin Rosario, K-Riz, drug dealer, well-respected guy, that I'm a punk-ass fiend and everyone knows, like it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, bro, what happened to you? When like the little homies that used to look up to you are like, yo, watch out, Riz is shooting dope now. Like it was the word. And so you can't even see it when you're in it, like how far gone I am. And I needed that, like, kind of check. I got arrested, and it was a big raid, and one of the little homies, like, told the plug, yo, watch out, Riz is shooting now, which implies, be careful, I might snitch. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? Like, how did the audacity of this kid who used to be scared of me, why would you even imply that? Then I'm like, oh, right, I'm 6'1", I'm sitting at 220 right now. I was 167 riding a Huffy in the rain, bro. I was a fiend, bro. You don't realize it. And so, calling around, begging for a bed, end of June. Finally, someone tells me go to the hospital and tell them you're off your meds and they have to evaluate you. I go to St. Luke's. I'm there for 10 hours. I'm no longer high. This crisis team comes, finally gets me a dual diagnosis bed in Plymouth. And here's the hit. This is a lot of bullshit to get back to this hit, so I don't care if you cut all that out. 2004, in an ambulance, on a ride to the dual diagnosis unit in Plymouth, I started to remember what all those people said in 2004, 6 years ago. If you want any chance of staying sober, you got to pray in the morning, pray at night. Try not to use for one day. Join a group, get active in a group, right? I'm this big book guy, and I'll quote the big book and blah, blah, blah. But, like, to be honest with you, it was the entry-level meeting makers make it message that stuck when I needed it.
The basics.
The basics, bro. And when I got to detox, my friend Nick Winterbeck, God rest his dead on that, he died May 2nd, 2010, so it was real fresh. He had died just a couple months ago. I hated God, I hated religion, I hated church, I hated the pedophiles, I hated the Vatican for moving them all around and destroying families. Like, but I could get with the memory and the spirit of my best friend, my childhood brother, is a power greater than myself. In day one in detox, I got on my knees and I was like, yo, Nick, just help me, bro. Just help me stay here one day. Please take away the obsession, right? And, like, that got me through detox. And then I was fighting for the CSS bed. Then I was fighting for the TSS bed. And I also want to say, like, I am an anonymous member of a 12-step fellowship, right? I do not represent any fellowship as a whole. I'm an idiot. I'm a crash dummy. I'm not exempt from a relapse and a couple felonies. Like, if I ever do anything that is unspiritual, it's not a reflection of any 12-step fellowship. In my experience of 15 years in recovery, I've never met a single person that says, I went through the 12 steps thoroughly one-on-one with a sponsor. I listed all my resentments. I did a third column of effects. I asked where I was selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and afraid for every single resentment. I listed all my fears. I answered the questions. I listed all my questionable sex conduct and answered the 9 questions that are laid out in that text. I did a 6 and 7, gave it to God, made a list, made all my amends, and continued to practice 10, 11, and 12, and relapsed. Not once in 15 years have I met someone that says they've gone through the steps and they continue to live the program, they're not exhibiting shady behavior, and they randomly relapse. What I've heard over and over again is, I went through the steps real quick, I got a little well, I got the job, the girl, the car, and I'm busy, and I'm blessed, and I got my kids, and I go to school, and they stopped going to as many meetings. They stopped making all their amends. They stopped, step 10 says, continue to take personal inventory. I was telling him just before we came in, just Thursday, I just did another 5th step at 15 years sober because I still get resentments and I still get fear and I still get sick.
Absolutely.
Step 11 says, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact. So I don't care if you got 10 years or 40 years. If I was praying yesterday for 2 minutes, on today I wake up, I should try to improve upon that. So it's never ending. It's always growing. It's always expanding. And, that, if nothing else, you get nothing else out of this talk, the success rates are crazy. The people that undeniable, right? Where else are you going to go that someone can say, hey, I guarantee if you do this, your life will improve.
Right.
I can't guarantee you won't go to jail for shit you already did. I can't guarantee you get the relationship back or the union card back. I can't guarantee you'll be able to get to see your kids. But I can guarantee if you do this honestly and thoroughly, 1, you won't drink. But 2, even better, you probably won't even think about drinking or getting high, and you'll generally be pretty happy.
Absolutely.
100%.
And they're like, yeah, no, I'm going to try something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I remember the first time I heard the promises, right?
Yeah.
And then they started to come true, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
right.
like you said, all that stuff for me kind of wore off too, the car, the girl, being a new dad. All that stuff eventually will wear off if you're not relying upon God in AA. You know what I mean? And I think, like you said too, step 12 is very important too. And it's for me, staying right sized, staying humble, and helping other people. You know what I mean? Because my brain is always how can I help myself? And in turn, I end up on the huffy. You know what I mean? Real quick, dude.
Well, the bulk of the step work has a heavy emphasis on selfishness and self-centeredness.
Yeah.
So if all I think about is me and what I want, and what I lost, and what I need, and Kevin, the solution to a very selfish person is self-sacrifice and service.
Yeah.
More importantly, altruistically, not giving a bum $1 and putting it on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's low-key, behind-the-scenes, inconvenient service work.
Yeah.
Right? I don't mean to say this to but it's true. I can't even say it because it's going to ruin it. But, I do some things that are, not convenient, bro. It's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to, eat steaks and hang with my girl and do weird shit and go golfing. I don't want to go speak at a detox. I don't want to pick up 3-4 guys and have to remove my car seat every week. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
But the deal I made in the 3rd step was, if and when you get positive results, you must now make time to help others. That being said, I do have kids. I do have a job. I do have a life. At 15 years, I'm down to 2 meetings a week.
Yeah.
But I talk to people in recovery every day. I currently God has a couple guys writing that I'm trying to work with. I was listening to a 5th step last night. I got a new guy meeting me today at 5 o'clock to read We Agnostics. And I got a job in my home group. I'm the treasurer of my home group. I'm not saying any of these things to say, look at me. I'm saying these things because that's what you guys taught me. Yeah. People are like, yo, you want to be well? Then you got to keep doing these things. But I also say it to say, you don't got to be in basements fucking 7 days a week for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're still going to the morning meeting and the loony noony and the 5:30 and the 7 every day and you're shooting for 24 hours, bro, you have an alcoholic mind.
Yeah.
You haven't recovered. The opposite is, the big book says, you can go anywhere a free man can go.
Yeah.
A person that cannot be around alcoholic, there's something wrong with his spiritual condition.
Yeah.
So, I can go to weddings and funerals. Me and my girl were just in Cancun, Mexico, bro. They're the drunkest places on the planet. At an all-inclusive with alcohol's free. They're offended if you don't drink.
Yeah.
I didn't want to drink. I didn't feel pressured. I didn't even think about drinking. I didn't miss that I was drinking. I was like, look at this sunset. Look at this beautiful beach. Yeah. Look at my hot girl. And I was literally present to that. And like I think in early recovery, I used to hear people in treatment centers. There was this guy, I won't say his name because he's a nice guy, but he used to say, and he had 10 years sober. He's like, yeah, you know, he also didn't have a car and like that, you know, no judgment, but like I like to keep people around me that are ambitious. Let's go.
Right,
it's
right.
cool to not shoot dope, but like let's be successful too, right? And so at 10 years sober, he used to tell me he was walking to work and he'd cross the street when he approached the liquor store. I'm like, bro, you're still a hostage. You're still. And at the time when he said this, I had 3 months, and I'm like, oh, that's a good point. I should probably stay away from liquor stores, people, places, and things.
Yeah.
In early recovery, that's true. But if at 10 years you're still avoiding it, there's something wrong there.
Absolutely.
Like I can go if my mom is like, hey, you know, dad doesn't feel well. Can you go to the store for me? My mom loves her paisano, bro. If I gotta stop and grab a gallon of wine from mom, I can do that.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
No, absolutely.
You
There's
know?
a kid at one of the houses right now. I won't put his name out there, but he was like, I can't stop obsessing about crack and coke. And he's like, if it was in front of me right now, I'd do it. And I said, bro, I can't say the same. Like, honestly, you know what I mean? And I say that because I'm like, bro, you're not going to feel this way forever. Granted, if you, like, do the work that's laid out, you're not going to stay in the obsession. You're just not. You know what I mean? It will go away if you, you know, what do they say? Contingent upon spiritual condition. You know what I mean? And
I feel like people don't even believe that.
no.
And I forget because I'm so far removed. It comes off as arrogance. Just so you know, I have caused a lot of harm in recovery. I've hurt people in recovery. I've messed up money in recovery. I've had sex problems, gambling problems. I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Like, left unchecked, I'm not like some spiritual, like, nice person.
Yeah.
Why I'm so loud and cocky is because I'm so confident in God and the process that, like, don't look at my mistakes. If you do this, you'll have a dope life. And I've had times where I'm, like, sponsoring guys, the next thing you know, they're weller than me.
Yeah.
Because they're doing all the things, and I'm, like, slacking. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that's why sponsorship is beautiful, because I don't want to be a hypocrite. If I'm telling you to do these things, like, I got to do them, too. I got to keep my game up, right?
Yeah, it holds you accountable.
Yeah.
I say that, too, about, you know, I get passionate about this stuff because there's something to be said about the truth, right? For the first time, like, I lived a lie and didn't even know that I was living, you know? And that's why I get passionate about it, where it's like, why wouldn't I want to shout this out? Like, why wouldn't I want to let people know? It's like, no, this ain't about me, right? And, like, I don't give a fuck if you think that I think it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting you know, like, I'm telling you because it fucking works. You know, I got introduced in 2018, 2025, 7 years later. I said today when I was speaking to the people, I'm like, if in these 7 years, if there was a loophole that I could have found, I wouldn't be here, right? Like, you guys, no one's done anything like, you know, the fellowship and like what I've learned and the education that I've, you know, been given. Nothing's happened and nothing's been like, no one's tricked me. No one's, you know, if anything, I've allowed it to maybe an individual person or whatever. But when it comes down to like this stuff here and like what we're talking about, like the bread and butter, it works and like, you know, that's a good feeling. You know what I mean? Like, now I can even more get vulnerable, let my guard down, and like, you know, just be me, right? Like I can breathe in a meeting. We can sit here, right? I just met you today, right? I know who you are. You know who you know what I mean? You're telling my story. You know what I'm saying? And that's the shit that I love about it. That's why I get passionate. You know what I mean? Because it's fucking.
It looks like ego if you don't know it.
Correct.
And so a lot of people, and I'm okay with it. And sometimes it is ego. Ego slides in too. Don't get me wrong. But when I'm fired up and I'm like hammering. This is a dude, I'll give Brian a shout out because he's a fun kid. But he used to say he'd come around for years. And I sit in the front still to this day because I'm sick and I don't need to be in the back distracted. This is where I belong. And so, very consistently, probably annoyingly, I'm the chronic hand raiser, bro. I only go to 2 meetings a week. I go to meetings to give something and to find people to help. I'm not there because I'm afraid I want to drink. So sorry, I'm raising my hand. But I keep it on step 1 primarily because I want the new people to hear, you know, I'm powerless. And when I start, I can't stop. When I make a decision to stop, I can't stay stopped. If you identify with those 2 things, bad news, bro, you're screwed. And no amount of time separation is going to, like, make that go away. And even worse, the third thing is, even if I'm not obsessing and I'm not using, I got the spiritual malady. And I'm restless, irritable, discontent. I got anxiety, depression. And if you're anything like me, that'll never go away. And if you don't do this, you're probably going to die. Right. And so this kid, Brian, used to say, I used to hate coming to this meeting. I got Kevin in the front row. He says, I'm going to die if I don't do the steps. Rah, rah, and F that. And I look for door number 3 and 5 and door number 7. Try to kill myself and rah, rah, thank God. He's like, he was right. Now I'm doing the 12 steps. I'm rocking into the fourth dimension. The kid's all fired up. And he's like, but he'll talk about how, like, and that's not uncommon. People come in, they see me, you know, I dress nice, I got the car, I'm loud, I'm always sharing, you know, I do have a little cockiness to me, I get that. And so they look at me as like, F that dude, bro. Who does he think he is? He thinks he's all that, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is, bro, I'm an idiot. It's not me. Yeah. If you do this weird stuff that makes no sense and pray and do step work, like, your life will change, like I promise. But you look at the person and you want to pick apart my personality or the way I carry myself, it's fine. Trust me, I know it's not me. Left to my own devices, after being gone through the steps, I've caused a lot of harm, dude. You know what I'm saying? I know what it looks like when Kevin's running the show.
Right.
You know, so...
It's funny you say that when... I've said it before, you know, when little... It's so much... It's deeper than that, right? Surface level shit, like, it's like, I'd say, as a, you know, half joking, like, if you're envying me, dude, like, you're a sick fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? Based on, like the outside shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. I've been doing that since I was a kid, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, I felt like shit, like, you know, the better I'm dressed, the chances are, the worse I feel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right? So it's like, if you're envying that or you're, like, judging based on that, like, fucking keep coming.
You know, like, dude, the truth of the matter is, like, the easier, softer way is just shutting the fuck up and listening. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get that memo for a long time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well,
it's like, I feel like, again, you can't help it. And this is why I don't get mad. And here's the science thing that I've learned, by the way. There's science and brain factors that we don't even know, right? So in the big book, it says, the peculiar mental twist, the strange mental blank spots. We are unsure why the alcoholic is without defense against the first drink. This is written in 1935, published in 1939. 2025. Neuroscience says the prefrontal cortex is responsible for decision-making, impulse control, willpower, and risk assessment. So the part of the brain that says, pause, think it through, this is dangerous, is completely hijacked and compromised by drugs and alcohol. So that's the connection. And two, I should say, that part of the brain's not even fully developed to mid-20s. So if you start using before 25, you've already never had a brain that's fully operational. More bad news. You don't start drinking or use it until 25. That's the thing it attacks first. And then when you want to get into the amygdala and the hippocampus and where trauma is stored, so you have a brain that's got no pause, poor rational decision-making skills, and you got trauma that's in fight or flight mode all the time, bro, you're fucked.
Yeah.
That's the science.
I love this. I love that aspect.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
and so
true.
The good news is, if you remain abstinent and you do other things, you reconnect new neural pathways. So the pray in the morning, pray at night thing, the go to the meeting, the call your sponsor, the go to therapy, the go to church, the go to the gym, the breathing, the mindfulness, and whatever else you can do besides run, shoot heroin, smoke crack, and punch people, you literally rewire your brain. Yeah. And now, today, I can say, I have a pretty good functional prefrontal cortex. I can now pause and think things through. Now my prefrontal cortex is probably so exaggerated at 45 with a blown ACL and 2 kids and a lot of overhead. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing basketball no more. I'm not climbing that ladder, bro. Like, constantly my brain's like doing risk evaluation. Like, I'm not a crash dummy no more, you know?
Yeah.
Because my brain's fully aware, bro, you got too much to lose. I can't be in a 10-month rehab again for my ACL. And so that's the hope shot. It's like, right now, bad news, you got a broke brain. If you're anything like me, you're going to continue to get high whether you want to or not. That's the bad news. The good news is if you do this weird stuff that makes no sense, you'll give your brain a chance to heal. But more importantly, you'll go inside and solve the problem. The problem is not that I'm powerless mentally. The problem is not that I have a physical allergy. The problem is when you take it away from me, I'm not okay. Until you find a way to be okay, it says in the doctor's opinion, they are restless, irritable, and discontent unless they can again experience a sense of ease and comfort that comes at once by taking a few drinks. So recovery is not about not using one day at 10. Recovery is about, how do I now find ease and comfort in a healthy, holistic way that does not destroy my life? Well, step 1 is do a step 4. Go in, get out all your hate, get out all your fear, get out all your shitty sex conduct, get out all your trauma. Take that first breath that you've maybe never taken and clear the pathway for this power, whatever you call it. Some people are real churchy. I'm not. I believe in the power of the universe. I believe believe in a creative intelligence. I believe that there is some force that ties everything together, that has inspired every forward-thinking man to look up and say, what is this? How did it happen? What am I doing here? It's inspired all religions. I do believe that Christ lived, and I try to live a Christ-like life, but I don't believe in everything in the Bible, right? I do believe in Gandhi and Buddha and these high-level, high-vibration, high-frequency, spiritually enlightened people, and I want to live like them and think like them, and I'll fall short every day. But, like, the real hit is this. If you, and I stole this from someone, by the way, so it's not me. Someone said this, is like, the best thing that ever happened to me in recovery is I created a life I no longer want to escape from. Yeah. That's the real solution. Find peace and happiness, and drugs and alcohol have no power. They seem ridiculous to me right now. If you just stop, and you got anger and frustration, and you're overwhelmed, your license suspended, and your baby mama's killing you, and your hep C's all blown out, and you're just, like, going through it, bro, you're on borrowed time. And maybe if you're lucky, you become a sex addict or a gambling addict or a sneaker addict, and you buy yourself some time filling the void with other means of getting dopamine. But eventually, when you got all that shit and nothing else fails, we're going back to Old Faithful.
Yep.
You know, so
yep.
That's the real hit. Go inside.
Yeah, that's my story, man. I always looked outward, and I'd get a couple months clean and get the new kicks and get the girl, or always look outside of myself. And I always say, like, I could fuck my life up without drugs and alcohol, dude. Because gambling, sex, that dopamine you talked about, it hits the same receptors, man. It gives us that insecure kid that I was, that you were. It, like, gives fucking validation. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this person fucking gonna show me attention. Yeah, why not? Or, oh, this is gonna help my bank account and fucking get me some more sneakers. It's just foolishness.
Even the awareness for me is huge.
Yeah,
being keen to, like, I'll get high off of. I can get high off meetings. I can get high off of, like, in sobriety. You know what I mean? Off of, validation or different things. Like, but I have to be aware of, like, all right, what's the agenda here? What's the motive? Right. But in today, that's the best part. Is, like, sometimes it doesn't always feel good to see, but, like, that's a no-brainer to me. Like 100 out of 100 times, like, I would want to, like, show me what it is. You know what I mean? Show me what I'm looking at, and then I can decide what I want to do with it. Because every time I'm gonna be like, it may be uncomfortable, but I need to be uncomfortable. Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, again, we get fired up, we get excited. The truth is, like, one of the biggest blessings that came from doing the step work is that I know for a fact I'm not the man. Right. I know for a fact I don't have it figured out. I know for a fact that, like, bro, I make a lot of mistakes. I am selfish. I am self-centered. And I do like attention. And I do making people laugh. But you know what? God put a battery in my back. Instead of selling cars and selling drugs and hustling women, like, how about you go carry this message? So you have to have a certain level of confidence and charisma to be able to hold a crowd, to carry the message. Absolutely. It's not the message of Kevin Rosario. Right. Yeah. I'm an idiot, dude. It's the message of when I was broken enough and I did weird stuff that made no sense. I had a tremendous experience and an outcome that's undeniable. And as a result of that, if you like success stories, yeah, great. I have 2 beautiful kids. Like, I bought a house. Me and my friend owned a multifamily. Like, I went to school and chipped away at an associate's degree, then a bachelor's degree. And just last year, I finished a master's degree. I had an MBA in healthcare management, right? I got decent credit. I drive a Cadillac again. I have a nice apartment. I have all the shit. Like, I've traveled the world. I've been to Portugal 6 times and DR twice and Cancun twice and Italy. Walked through the Sistine Chapel, right? Seen, like, the Colosseum, dude. Like, these are places an addict like me would never going to be able to go. Yeah. And again, it's not because of me. It's because of my higher power, and the 12 steps has delivered me to this spiritual place where, like, I can save a couple bucks and I can go anywhere a free man can go, and I can be a dad and I can be a student with ADHD. You say, oh, I'm ADHD. Okay, great. So guess what? The solution for ADHD is to be extra organized. Right. Everything I do, from meetings to step work to dentist appointments, is in my calendar. There you go. Right? Yeah. It is. And, like, so if I know I'm a spaz in school, again, what I do, I learned in 12 steps. I sit in the front. I ask questions. I take notes. Yeah. And, like, next thing you know, like, I'm graduating with honors. An ADHD heroin addict ex-con with an MBA with honors, right? Not because I'm special, because people taught me how to offset your defects, how to, like, what's the solution? Ask God for help. Ask other people that are in school, went to school before you. Get a tutor if you need. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny you say that, First, you get the perspective, how do you perceive things, right? You talked about your mother, glass half full. And, like, ADHD, whatever the case may be, like, alcoholics and addicts, right? I mean, like, we love to self-diagnose, right? And you just proved right there. You just said right there, usually the ADHD is like, all right, that's when, like, that's for an addict to go to, like, the counselor and, like, tell them what's wrong with you, right? Rather than have them let you know, like, what's going on, right? And then you're leaving there with the prescription or whatever, right? Because this is what I need to, like, feel better. As opposed to, like, and it's wild how that works. Because, like, you just proved right there that, like, the perception, like, most of the time, like, that would be for us, like, something like a crutch. That would be like, oh, well, I have this, I have that. Most of the time we're wrong. I always say, like, the best, it's kind of comical if you think of it, but, like, to go to the psych, to go to, like, your primary care, and, like, they set you up with someone. And next thing you know, like, I go in there and, like, it would be like the feds might have well, like, have been interrogating me. Like, you'd think there was a spotlight on me, and they were asking me, like, do you drink, and how much do you drink, and, like, do you use drugs? And I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable, and I'm lying, and now the guy's fucking diagnosing me based on what I'm telling him. Yeah. And he's just a doctor, dude. He's, you know what I mean? I can't even tell the truth to fucking him, Yeah. So why would I?
ADHD ends up becoming a superpower if you know how to use it, right? Yeah. So especially the H. Clearly, I'm hyperactive, bro. I have a cup of coffee at like 7 a.m. If you see me at my meeting tonight at 7 o'clock, this is where I live. I'm not on any meds. No knock to anybody. If you're on meds, do whatever you got to do to not die. The Fetty's killing people. But, like, I'm not on any meds. Yeah. But what's cool about ADHD, when you figure out how to channel it, Mo, I bet if you put that computer on, well, if you put my computer on right now, across the top, there's 8 tabs. At all times, I got multiple pages open. I'm working on different shit. Yeah. My brain can multitask multiple tabs. Yeah. And I have the hyperactivity, also the passion from recovery and a higher power that charges me. I can have multiple things going, as long as I'm taking notes and documented. Somehow, I do a bunch of shit that normal, calm people can't do. Yeah. They can't handle all the chaos. I'm like, the chaos is every day. Yeah. If you saw my life and the phones and the emails and the Zooms and like, bro, how do you possibly? I don't. God, recovery, somehow it happens. Whereas, like, I couldn't pick out sneakers in the morning, bro. I couldn't make it to the methadone clinic on time. I had very low-level tasks that I was unable to do on my own power. And now my life, from someone that has like a 9-to-5, very boring clock in, clock out life, they see the activity of my phones and my social. Like, bro, I would lose my mind. I'm like, it's actually a calm day. I feel pretty good. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, right? And it's not about me again. I'm not saying it's about me. I'm saying shout out to the ADHD.
You're just being you, but also doing, like, you're doing the basic things that you were taught. Yeah. And because of that, like, you're able to excel.
To me, bro, like,
it's operationalized.
Nothing you said to me, like, and it's crazy, right? Because me and Joe say all the time, the way you perceive something tells a lot about, like, where a person's at, right? Like, 10 years ago, listen to what you said, I'd probably be like, I was that guy that was like, fuck this dude, fuck the steps, he's being cocky. But it's like, no, like, what you're saying is you do this work, right? We're all fucking idiots. Like, you can have and do and go wherever the fuck you want, bro. And, like, that to me, it's like, the fact that you still have a home group and go to meetings and go through the steps and take people through it, that speaks volumes to me. Like, I need to hear that shit, bro, because this shit never stops. Like,
and that's the ultimate freedom.
We have it. What are you gonna do with it? And, like, you're either gonna fucking live or die, bro. What do you want to do?
Well, perfect example of why it's not me that gets credit. In 2021, I have a beautiful fiance. We buy a beautiful home in Somerset, which is a town after Fall River, where if you make it out of New Bedford, Fall River, that's where you want to go, right? Yeah. Dead end street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm driving a Lexus. She trades in sells her little Honda. She's driving a brand new car. Have 2 beautiful kids back to back. Absolutely insane and miserable. Fighting with her. She sucks. Sleeping in the spare bedroom. Not going to as many meetings during and post-COVID. Praying robotic prayers, not with my heart. Hadn't written any inventory. So on stupid societal's paper, hot girl, 2 kids, dope house, driving a Lexus, dead-end street in an affluent town with a 9 out of 10 school system. Dying on the inside, blew it all up, left her impulsively, moved into a 3-family in New Bedford, right? Blew up my whole life at like 10 years sober. Well, what was the problem? It was me. I was the problem. because I wasn't taking care of my spirit, she sucked, the house sucks, this sucks, everything sucks. So if you're ever in a situation where, like, your boss sucks, your girl sucks, everybody in the meeting sucks, the girl at Dunkin' Donuts sucks, bad news, bro. Y'all the common denominator, bro. You probably
Chances
suck.
are you suck.
You know? And so I left that, and it was bad, and I left abruptly, and I caused a lot of harm to her, which I regret. And, like, I was sick for a year or two and all that. And the next thing you know, guess what? I go through the steps again. And this was 2 years ago. And I just did it again. Just did a 5th step Thursday. But 2 years ago, I go through the steps again, and it's like, you're so mad at all these things that happened, but you left. She didn't kick me out and call the cops. I left. And now I'm mad at the fallen, right? That's 1. 2, I was so upset about the amount of child support I had to pay. She's got a car. She's going to Florida. She's doing this. Blah, blah, blah. Poor me. She's living off my child support. Go through the steps again. Here's a new perspective. The truth is, daycare is so expensive that really all I'm doing is paying for daycare. And because she's successful because she works hard and she has a business, she's not going to Florida on my child support. My child support's paying for daycare, which is astronomical, by the way. Yeah. But, like, it was a total shift from, like, being this victim, like, I got taken advantage of and the state smoked me. I did get smoked. I still feel that way. I don't care how much God I got in my life. It's a lot, right? But the truth is, she works hard and she grinds probably more than I do. She's made good business decisions. And so financially, she's not balling because of me. My little money barely covers the daycare. That's so much freedom comes from that. And then the whole other shift is like, okay, so she's mad and she don't like you and she thinks you're a narcissist most of the time. Okay, but she's a great mom.
Yeah.
And, like, even though the child support order is 50-50 legal, 60-40 physical, I got 40. If I call her today, which is not my night, and I'm like, hey, do you mind if I pick up the kids for a couple hours and drop them off at 5:30? She'll be like, yeah, no problem. She doesn't keep the kids from me. Yeah. I can see the kids whenever I want. How many guys in early recovery can't see their kids, right? And here's the third thing, and, like, prayers for anyone who this touches on a personal level, but, like, now that I go around with my 4 and 5-year-old kids and I go to malls or I go to carnivals or wherever I go, like, you see kids with, like, physical disabilities or mental health disabilities, and, bro, like, having 2 kids is hard. Having a kid with a disability makes it so much harder, and I'm like, man, I'm over here mad at God, and, like, God blessed me with 2 beautiful, intelligent, physically capable, healthy children. Thank you, God, right? And so today I can tell you, nothing has changed. I still pay a pretty hefty child support. She did get the house, right? And I do have 60-40 instead of the 50-50 I wanted. But I'm so happy, and I'm so free, and I'm so grateful. And I'm even on the other end, like, I don't even know if I could handle 50-50, bro. It's a lot. Maybe God knew that those kids needed to be with mom 60 more than 40, because dad at 40, after a long weekend, he's about done. Yeah. Love him to death, but I'm like, it's a lot.
God knows, he knows exactly what we need. Yeah.
And so, again, that's not me. Left to my own devices, I blow up a beautiful family with 2 kids and I leave. Bring God back in, go through the 12 steps, talk to people about it. My whole perspective changes, and I find peace with the situation. And I'm not even just at peace. Like, I'm grateful. I'm lucky. I'm blessed.
It's crazy, right?
You know? And so, I don't know, dude. It's a dope ride. It's definitely, like, it's not bullshit. I don't sell big books or any other literature or whatever. I know we're coming up on an hour, so we'll wrap up. Selfishly, I would like to give a couple plugs if you don't mind.
Yeah, shout out whoever,
You know, as a result of being in recovery and meeting some awesome people along the way, like, I started doing free speaking gigs like we were talking about before we started recording, and I started speaking in schools, and then I started doing, like, you know, anti-stigma and overdose vigils and stuff, and, like, as a result of that, like, being around smart clinical and medical people, I developed a couple PowerPoints of learning objectives, and I started ACES, which stands for Addiction Consulting and Education Services. So if anyone's curious, go to addiction-education.com, and I got a bunch of YouTube videos and, like, people recorded me speaking at schools. And, you know, I worked for a nonprofit on Cape for 10 years, and I learned a lot there while I was chipping away at my degrees. But when I finished my master's degree, it's like, what's the next level? And, like, now I've spoken to over 10,000 kids and students in schools and auditoriums, 600-700 kids at a whack. And the truth is, the place I worked for was a great company, but they didn't have adolescent services. So about a year and a half ago, I teamed up and partnered with New England Medical Group, which is where I work now. And they have 6 programs, and they provide great programming, but 4 of them are adults, and it's in Milford, Brookline, and Norwell, and that's dope, and I don't want to underplay that. But, like, why I really joined is because they have 2 adolescent programs. And like where I'm at right now is like, yeah, adults are cool. I do that in my personal life. I try to help men find God and whatever. But on a personal level, I'm fired up about early intervention, education, primary prevention, legitimate refusal skills, not just say no, run away, blow the rape whistle, bro. That's not real life. You know what I mean?
Right.
How do we build resilience and give these kids real skills? So about 18 months ago, I joined New England Medical Group. They have an adolescent program in Hingham, and they have one in Milford, and they do like 12 to 18 primary mental health with co-occurring addiction, and it's like so dope. So now with them, they're like same thing. They're like, yo, Kev, go hit all the schools, do all the talks, right? If there's money, great, keep it. If there's no money, say we sponsored it. And like, if kids actually need help, now I got a program that I can land them at. It's a PHP IOP. So we're 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. We're in network with like everything. We do canine assisted therapy. They bring the dogs in and do like DBT skills and stuff. And it's been really dope. So it was like the next step in my career was to align with someone that had these adolescent services, and they're growing. They're only a few years old, and like, so I can put this MBA to use as they continue to grow. Right now, I'm overseeing the alumni department. I work closely with marketing and advertising, and of course, I do the business development stuff and like try to raise awareness. But really, my passion, if I could do it all day, is podcast, education, anti-stigma, recovery talks, and adolescent prevention work. Yeah. You know, so that's where I'm at today. If I can be helpful to anyone, look me up, Kevin G. Rosario on Facebook. I got an ACES page. I got a YouTube, New England Medical Group, NEMG.com. You know, you can put my card, my phone number up at the end if you put it, if you edit it on my cell phone, 774-406-6765. And one thing I pride myself, you know, and shout out to the OGs that have been around with me, like the Matt Gannams and the Eddie McGratz and George Slane and all these other people that have taught me along the way. But like one thing that I do that I think those guys do as well is like, if I'm not a good fit and we don't take your insurance or geographically we're not the right spot, like we have huge networks. Yeah. I'm not going to just dump you. I'm going to connect you with the next person. At a minimum, I'm going to give you a phone number. Oh, you got Mass Health and everyone's telling you to kick rocks? Call me, bro. I'll help you. I got a huge Mass Health network. Yeah. It's not profitable for me. You send detox business to Mass Health people, they send you nothing back. There's no motive. Yeah. But like, again, to operate with integrity and to be a man in recovery, like, yo, if you see me and you need help, if you ask people about me, they'll tell you, like, I'll do the right thing. If we're not a good fit, I'll point you in the right direction. And that's God and that's recovery. And, like, I appreciate, you know, kind of a platform to get more information out there. So
yeah, 100%.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro, it was great. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, 0% Clothing Company. All profits. It's a non-profit. It all goes towards helping people struggling with addiction. New clothing company coming out soon. Yeah, it was dope, man. It was dope having you. Brought the heat, dude. I'm fired up right now. I'm ready to go run a fucking marathon, dude.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head, you know. It's easy. It's nice to sit here or whatever, you know, and just take it all in. But
therapeutic, dude. Yeah, we gotta have him sign the thing. Grab it. Oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah, we'll have to come out your way. We'll make plans, whatever.
Definitely, dude. Shout out to Chris Morris too for
thanks,
your little plug, you know. Yeah.
Chris, big supporter.
Yeah, big supporter, dude. I bumped into him. That's when I was like, damn, I'm doing something right, you know. I bumped into him at a comedy show in Boston, and he was like, hell yeah, got the.
I had to go right on the white.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're running out of room. Nah, absolutely. He was like, aren't you on a podcast? I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't know this dude from a hole in the wall.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah, it was cool.
No way.
It's cool.
All right, guys. Once again, Kevin Rosario. Check it out. Episode 28.
Episode 28.
All right, peace out.
Peace.
Bring me the light because it can't be this. Niggas acting like it can't be fixed. Yeah. Can't go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone?